Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee. Now in today's video, we are going to be looking at the Earth Quakers Device Palisades, and we're going to match it up with the Kraken here to see how they match and marry together. So I have done a video on this already, but we haven't done it with the Kraken yet, so I'm keen to see how they mesh and how they really work together. So what we are going to do is we're going to be using my 7-string there, which is tuned down to drop G, which normally the lower tuning you go, the harder it is to control the distortion sound. So we're going to really put this one to the test to see how much it can control the low tuning sound through the Kraken. Now this Kraken is really good just on its own. It handles the low tuning really well. But for this video, because we're highlighting this pedal, we're going to be setting this Kraken on practically clean, or not far from being clean, and we're going to make this pedal do all the work. So this pedal comes with a gain, so it's got its own overdrive built into it. It's got its own boost, which is nice. So they're both in one. That's amazing. But the one thing it has amazing, has lots of things amazing actually. So this is definitely not a video to see does Lee like this or not. I absolutely do. That has been confirmed. It's been researched, exercised, and confirmed. It has awesome different voicings that can be used that sound really, really different, which I really like. And it's got a different bandwidth too to help control what frequencies you want to use. So while dialing in a low tuning guitar, we can kind of take out a lot of that bottom end resonance so it's not too muddy and make it more clearer. A clearer distortion, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I've mic'd up my 2x12s with my Vintage 30 speakers in the other room, ready to go. So yeah, I'm going to set this all up a little bit more and set up a little camera. So we'll dial in a tone together, see how it sounds. In all my videos, I like to do a bit of a jam. So we'll have a bit of a jam with this sound that we found, as in found with these two matching up together. And then we'll have a chat about it afterwards. So let's see how these two marry up together. The Palisades and the Kraken. Now we have everything set up ready to go. What I also noticed is all the amp settings, I didn't reset them before pushing record on the camera. So this is the distortion that it sounds like just out of this amp. So this is settings from a previous video I did. So it's sounding all right. So I've got the speaker and 2 microphones set up in the other room. So let's do a bit of house maintenance first. So this is what the SM57 mic sounds like. And this is what my E609 sounds like. So what I like to do is I just kind of have them both coming in evenly. So I use my first mic as more of a brightening and to get that real grit sound, and the second mic to give it that nice warmth and that bottom end. And together, it sounds like this. Cool, but now I need to do one thing that I don't like doing, which is getting a clean sound. I don't like going from distortion to clean. I prefer the other way and finish on a high note. So now I haven't got a camera set up on the actual amp because I've got it set up for the pedal. So let me just quickly dial this down. That's okay, levels not coming through. All right, I'm not going to muck around too much because I could sit down EQing it, trying to get it more pleasant. But that's fine for a clean now. And I really want to push the Palisades pedal to see how much we can actually get out of it. So now I've heard the distortion that the Kraken has to offer, just kind of like in-house distortion. Let's see what happens if we introduce not in-house stuff. So push the activate button. So it does act a little bit differently at the moment. So we're on voice 1. Got the tone a bit high. We'll worry about the bandwidth later. We've got the normal and bright. So let's turn off the bright. Turn on the bright. Yeah, it does sound a bit better. So let's dial back the gain. All right, so that's not good. Let's just give it about halfway. It's not too bad. Let's give it a little bit of saturation just to give it that nicer characteristic for a distortion. That's not too bad. Let's push it a little bit more. So having it full actually doesn't sound too bad, but I'll roll it back a bit because it is starting to break up the sound just a little bit too much for my liking. All right, so that's not too bad. But we can do better. So now it's got a second gain here, and that doesn't like enhance it. It's just got 2 different type of gains you can set, which is really handy because some amps don't have different channels, or just say if you're having an extra pedal to muck around with live, you can set, say, one gain for your rhythm and the other gain for lead, or just different parts of the song, which is really cool. So I like that. But let's add the boost, because I love boost in pedals. So, whoa, let's not boost it all the way yet. All right, so we'll boost it, I don't know, about there, about, what's that, 9 o'clock. So not enough. Let's boost it to 12 o'clock. When I mean the time, like that's where the dial is facing. So 12 o'clock is straight up. A bit more of a boost, a bit more of a bite. More of a bite. So now we can roll back on the gain a bit because the boost is giving it a bit of distortion as well. sounding too bad. Let's give it a little bit more tone and see if we can just get a bit better. Definitely a clean signal coming through. So let's start dealing with different voicings, because that's what I felt last time I used it made the biggest difference. And then after that, we'll work on the bandwidth over on the other end to see if we can clean it up even more. So this is voicing 1. Voicing 2. So a little bit more sharper, which is nice. 3. Not too bad, a little bit more low end heavy. Let's try 4. Don't know which note's better to finish off there. But that doesn't matter. I'm not here for that. Let's try next voicing. So 5. Five is all right. Let's try voicing 6s. Takes away a little bit too much of the aggressiveness. So 5 is actually not bad. Or 2. Back to 1. I think I might leave it on 2. So let's check out the bandwidth and see. So this is set on 1 at the moment. So this is a preset settings it has. So number 1. 2. 3. 4. 2 bottom heavy. So 5 I'm guessing would be very bottom heavy. Yeah, let's go back to 1. I think that's got the most amount of aggression to it, the first bandwidth. That's cool. Let's go back to 5 voicing and just, because we're here, let's see how it sounds with that bandwidth. as aggressive as what I was hoping. All right, so what else can we muck around with? Let's muck around the gain a little bit more. Just chuck it up a little bit. You might be getting bored of the same riff because I kind of found like a little jingle that I play to help compare all the different ones. I actually really like it with a little bit more gain now that we've taken out a bit of the bottom end. Because it feels like it's still got that clarity that we need in our distortion still. Yeah, I think we might leave it there. I mean, there is so much you could do with this actual pedal here. I could just keep going backwards and forwards and trying and trying and trying and trying. And that is only just with the pedal, let alone going to the actual amp and going backwards and forwards, trying to find the best mix between them. Because I'm sure I could get a little bit more of an aggressive tone if I were to muck around with the EQs on the actual amp here and to push it differently. This amp doesn't have a presence feature. Didn't notice that. That's one of my favourite features on an amp. One of my many favourite features, actually. I've got a lot of favourites. So I'll take a bit of time off the camera now, compose a little bit of a jingle. We'll double up on the guitars, which is going to be a real big test to see if this sound that we have here is going to sound as aggressive as that, or if it's going to lose it or get lost or muffled or whatever the results are going to be. We are going to find out because I'll double up on the guitars, I'll add bass and drums, I'll do a little Brady Bunch setup with all my different takes into different boxes. Hopefully you enjoy it and tap your foot along to the song. And then we'll have our final thoughts about it at the end, afterwards. So, sit back and enjoy this tune, and I'll see you all on the other side. Time for my final thoughts on the Palisades marrying up with the Kraken. First and foremost, I will say that this definitely reacts differently to this amp compared to other ones I've used. So if you want to see how that works, definitely go through my library of videos and see what else I match this up to, because I've done it to a couple of different amp heads now, which is a good thing. It's good that I like that, hey, with different things, you're going to get different results, which gives us more options, gives us a larger pool to be creative, which is good. So let me just run through all the little different options we have here first. So first, the voicing, I had it on voice 2, and normally 1 or 2 is more common for me, but 5 was a real close one too. I just felt like the voicing for 2 just had a little bit more aggression to it, ever so slightly, which if it's ever so slightly, when you start doubling up on them, that's going to increase all the aggression and all the different characteristics that the distortion tone has. So yeah, giving that little bit more would have made a large difference overall. So hence why I picked that one. The boost worked really amazing with this Kraken. The gain, I pushed the gain pretty hard. It's about 3 o'clock now, so it's not that far off actually maxing out. Not a bad thing. Not anything that really needs to be pointed positive or negative towards. It's just its characteristics. The bandwidth, I pretty much took it to the lowest. I'm going to say the lowest. I took it to the bandwidth that took out the most low-end frequency to really tighten up the sound, especially using the 7-string, which is already a low tuning. I felt like that really cleaned it up a lot. Yeah, there's lots more I could say. Like the boost was great. The brightness compared to the normal, the bright really helped step it up. Yeah, there's definitely lots I could say, but I'll kind of move the conversation a little bit more towards the Kraken at the moment because, you know, the video's about both of them. As much as we made this do all the work, this had some elements to it because its characteristics and its engineering played a part on the end result. So the distortion that I got from here, which I started the video off on, sounded good. Didn't sound too bad at all. Definitely an amazing foundation to start from if I was to try find a distortion tone for a session. In saying that, when we put this to clean, and clean I'm not really that phased about. Like I don't really delve into that much about clean because I prefer distorted sounds. So when we did put it into clean though, and we added this overdrive aspect to it, I felt like my first impression was it wasn't that far off being different to it. So the distortion on board here isn't that different to the distortion that this pedal has to offer with its overdrive. Very slight different characteristics, granted, but not that much. But with everything else that this brings to it, the boost, the different voicing and the bandwidth being, I didn't really say that because the brightness definitely played a big part and the buffer played a big part. So let's just conclude in saying all of it really helped bring this sound to life. Now, not to say the sound here was bad, but adding this to it and with what it had to offer, really making it do most of the work, really made this pop. So listening to them back to back, because after I recorded the jam, I went through the session of where I was dialing the tone because I wanted to hear what it was like when we had the decent one to start with compared to when we had the final one to really get a comparison of it, which you can do quite easily just by jumping in this video to when we first started dialing it in till the jam. Is this really cleaned it up and tightened it up. It really made the low notes and the mid notes really pop and really jump out and stand out. And as I said, it really cleaned up the distortion as well, or the overdrive. So it sounded a lot clearer. The notes had a lot more clarity to them. And it just made it better and easier to work with. And playing it as well, I felt more comfortable playing it and more excited playing it with this engaged, with its characteristics engaged, rather than just playing through the amp. And absolutely nothing against this amp whatsoever. This video is about marrying both, not which one's better, or do you need this if you own something like this, or do you want to buy this if you don't own something like this? No, not at all. We're just mixing two really good devices together and see what happens. And now we've seen what happens. So, yeah, I felt like these characteristics that the pedal brought was a real positive. It was a real pleasure to put them together and to see the end results. And the little jam that I decided to put together with a little bit of a black metal touch to it before dropping back into something more lower and grinding. I really wanted to show the different variances in what this pedal matching up with this amp brings, because the chords are nice and clean, playing up a bit higher, and then dropping down to the lower notes, it really had that nice boom as well without overbearing with the subs, if that makes sense. So I felt like the jam was still nice and clear and had a lot of clarity to the overall sound through all the different phases that I played. So yeah, I think that's all I really need to say, other than I'm sure I could have made a hell of a lot better sound if I did muck around a little bit more with the amp after I came out with something good via the pedal to find a nice balance between them all. But I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't do that. I just didn't. But anyway, because I didn't, we really got to see what it was like putting this pedal to do the majority of the work. So I think I've babbled on enough now, because I could keep talking on for a lot longer about all this because it was fun. But I want to hear your opinions. These videos are designed to have a conversation. So let's bring the community together and talk about this. So how did you feel when I dialed it in? How did you feel about just the distortion that came directly off this amp compared to the distortion that we got after adding the pedal? How did you feel when I was going through all the different voicings? Do you feel like I selected the right one, or there might have been a much better one for the jam that I ended up playing? Yeah, how do you feel about the whole thing? Do you feel like it needs to be boosted or not at all? Don't know. My opinion of it did, because I felt like it improved the sound, but that doesn't mean your opinion is incorrect. It's just different, and I want to hear it. I want to hear if it's the same or incorrect. Whatever your thoughts are, I definitely want to hear it. So yeah, leave a comment below on any opinions you have on this video or anything you want to bring up and talk about. I have a Facebook page that I do most of my talking to with the community in regards to this channel. That I'll leave in the link in the description below if you want to chat to there about other equipments or other things that you might want me to do with this equipment or anything else that I do have. Because yeah, we have some pretty cool conversations on there as well. And it's also post a lot of different pictures and a lot of things that are coming up on this channel as well on my Facebook page. So if you want a bit of a heads up and a sneak peek on what's coming up, definitely join the Facebook page, the group, the Metal Prognosis. So with all this stuttering and jumbling of words, I'll do my sign off. Whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I absolutely appreciate your company and being a part of this conversation. If you know anyone else that might be interested in not just this video, but these type of conversations and discussions I have with different guitar tones and heavy metal gear, please let them know I exist so I can really help this channel grow and become more than what it is. And yeah, I look forward to our chats next time. And in saying that, until next time, please stay safe.